come to the Word of God on tonight. If you see it on the screen, say amen. You will not need to record this. We will be posting this sermon to Facebook. Amen. We pray that you will be able to see this on Facebook and our YouTube channel tonight. From Matthew 28, verses 18 through 20, reading from the King James Version. Let us share reading God's holy word. And Jesus came and spake unto them, saying, all power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. And all together, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the word of God for the people of God. I want to preach tonight, preach and teach from this subject, still got power. Amen. Tell somebody, I've still got power. Y'all real weak tonight with it. Amen. How you gonna say you still got power and say it in a weak way? Won't you just say it to me? Everybody look at me and say, Pastor, I still got power. Come on, put your hands together for that. 2018 was a year of storms. It was not just a year of severe weather forecast, not just a year of predicted floods, of predicted torrential rains, of predicted life-endangering atmospheric episodes. But 2018 was a year of many forecasts, of many storm predictions coming true. How many know that sometimes what is forecast, sometimes what is predicted comes true? In 2018, we had some major storms to arise. We had some major storms to not just be predicted, but to actually hit. I was in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, from September the 2nd to September the 6th. When I arrived in Myrtle Beach, there was talk of a hurricane named Florence arriving. However, on September the 7th, this hurricane was degraded to a tropical storm. It strengthened again, and by September the 14th, when it made its way landfall in the United States, just south of Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina, it was a Category 1 hurricane. The hurricane experienced a huge storm surge, and this caused widespread coastal and inland flooding in South Carolina and mostly North Carolina. Cities like Fayetteville, North Carolina, Durham, North Carolina, and Chapel Hill, North Carolina, were inundated as major rivers such as the Cape Fear River, the Inno River, and the Lumberton River spilled over their banks. Most major roads and highways were affected, with long stretches of I-40, I-95, and U.S. Route 70 remaining impassable for days after the storm had passed. The rivers had been so overrun by the floods that many days after the storm, the highways and the roadways were literally littered with dead fish. Dead fish were everywhere, all on the interstate. It seemed that the whole ecosystem had been thrown out of balance. Seemed that the whole ecosystem had been thrown out of whack. I read one article about a North Carolina man who, after the storm, bought shrimp from a fisherman. He was handling the shrimp, preparing to freeze it, and somehow he must have used his hand to touch his mouth, or he must have had a small cut on his hand that was touched by the shrimp. Whatever the case, the fresh caught shrimp was so infected with bacteria that it left this man to literally fight for his life. Somebody say after effects. How many of you know that storms, how many ever been in a storm? And you have found out that storms have after effects. One of the most common after effects of storms is loss of power. In North Carolina and South Carolina, due to Hurricane Florence, more than 500,000 homes lost power. Here in New York, in the first part of the year, 2018, you may not remember, your life has moved on. But here in New York, in March of this year, we had a storm, we had a nor'easter. One of our deacons who normally sits over here, he was trapped in his house for many days. He had some after effects. He had some sickness that developed in his body. Here in New York, a nor'easter came, and 100,000 homes in Rockland, Putnam, and Westchester counties lost power. Many suffer power outages due to storms. I say many. I use a qualifier because there are often times that no matter how severe a storm, no matter how strong the wind and the rain, there are those who report, I still got power. I was reminded of this life scenario recently as I was thinking about the end of the year and as I was reflecting about the life of Jesus. Church, Jesus himself went through the greatest storm, went through the most severe storm that one can ever go through. Press rewind tonight and back up a few chapters from the chapter in Matthew where we find our text for this evening. And you will find evidence of what I'm talking about. You will see how Jesus was betrayed by one close to him, denied by another close to him, and abandoned by nearly all who were close to him. You will see how he was turned over to his enemies to be unjustly tried and then publicly crucified on an old rugged cross. Rewind and you will see how the Bible tells us that as he hung there on the cross to die, the sun, the S-U-N, refused to shine, and the earth hiccuped and reeled and rocked like a drunk man. Matthew tells us that things got so bad for Jesus that he looked towards heaven to his Father and cried out, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" Jesus faced the greatest storm of his life, For not only does the word tell us that he died on the cross, but it tells us that they buried him. Church, sometimes your storm goes so bad that it seems as if you are completely buried by your storm. Do I have any witnesses here? Sometimes your storm goes so bad that your haters and that those close to you think that it's completely over for you. Oh God. Jesus went through the greatest storm of his existence. Church, he was down. Church, he was deflated. Church, he was dead. However, our text for tonight tells us at the end of Matthew, here in Matthew 28, that Jesus appears to his disciples and he says, all power is given to me in heaven and in earth. In other words, my brothers and sisters, though he has been through the worst, though he's been through the greatest trial, through the greatest test, through the greatest storm of his life, he steps on the scene and he lets his disciples know, I still got power. He said, all power is given unto me. He said, I've been knocked down, I've been bruised, and I've been battered, I've been persecuted, but I still got power. And church, perhaps that's somebody's testimony in here tonight. 2018 was straight out hell for you. You had perhaps the greatest storm of life you ever had. There were times that you felt forsaken and that you felt abandoned, not just by people, but you felt forsaken and abandoned by God. Your whole world seemed to be hiccuping, seemed to be reeling and rocking like a drunk man. There was times it was so dark that it seemed like the sun refused to shine. But here you are tonight on the last day in 2018. Here you are still standing. Here you are still strong. And your testimony tonight is, I still got power. Is there anybody in here who can say it with me? Is there somebody who can say, no matter what I've been through, no matter what I face, I still got power? Come on and give God a hand clap of praise. Not only could the devil not stop you, but he couldn't stop your power. He couldn't block your power. He couldn't disconnect your power. Is there anybody glad today that you can say, I still got power? I don't know about you. Oh God, I don't know. Y'all look real laid back in here tonight. Y'all act like y'all ain't been through nothing. Y'all act like y'all ain't gone through any trials, gone through any tests. Is there anybody in here who can stand on your feet and let the devil know, devil, you tried all you could, but I still got power. I still got power. I still, that's all I wanted to say. I'm about at the end of my message. I still got power. You may not like it. You thought I was down. You were laughing at me. You thought the enemy had me. But I still. Come on, somebody. Come on, say it like you mean it. Say it like you're saying it to the meanest person that ever tried to take you down. Come on, think about that mean person and say, I made it.
I'm still here. I still. Come on, say, I still. Power. I still got power. I still got power. Come on, put your hands together. Still got power. That's what I believe Jesus was saying. I'm done with my sermon. I believe he was saying, still got power. Jesus was saying to the disciples, he was letting them know, I went through the greatest storm of my life. Jesus was saying, I went through the worst that I could go through. But Jesus wanted them to know, I may have gone down, but the grave couldn't keep me down. How many know sometimes you go down, but just because you go down, that doesn't mean you gotta stay down. How many know God will pick you up? He made a comeback. How many know God can take you from setback to comeback? Tell somebody, I'm about to make a comeback. You better take a picture of me right now. This is the worst you're going to ever see me. Hallelujah. Because I'm about to walk into the newness of life. Is there anybody in here who can believe God for a great comeback? How many know God can give you a comeback? Come on, put your hands together and give God some ridiculous praise. Jesus came back. I'm done with my sermon. He came back and he announced that he still had power. But not some power. Put it up there. That's why I ain't scared. The enemy can't punk me. The enemy can't keep me down. My Savior got all power. How many know your Savior got all power? He said, all power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. You got some trouble in the earth? See, that's the part they don't preach. They want you to just keep saying, by and by, when the morning comes, we're going to get some pie in the sky, in the by and by. But is there anybody in here that not know that Jesus not only can make a difference in your situation in heaven, but he can change your situation right here on earth? Who can say, look at me? I'm a testimony. Look at me. He changed my circumstance. He said he had all power. His announcement, however, my friends, was not just about making a statement. He wasn't just trying to say like Kumo D, how you like me now? He didn't care about impressing nobody. He didn't care about having power just to have powers, just to revel in power. But notice, I'm done with my sermon. I'm just giving you the crumbs. Amen? Yeah. The word for you tonight is you still got power. But notice something. I just want to give you some crumbs and then we're going to pray. Notice this. Yeah. He didn't just have power to revel in power. But look at what the next word he states after he said he got power. Notice what his word is after he said he got all power. He said after he said he got all power, he said to his disciples, go. Go. He said he had power, but then the next word out of his mouth was go.
In other words, he didn't just have power to save, he still had power, but he had power to get others back to going, just like he was back to going. See, let me tell you something. He went down, and when he went down, everybody scattered. When he went down, when they couldn't see him anymore, his disciples became hopeless and faithless. Hallelujah. They went away from the movement, but he showed up, and he wanted to let them know that he had power, and he was back to going, and because he was back to going, they too could get back to going. I want to tell somebody, no matter what you have lost, no matter who has gone away from you, God has the power to get you back to going. Is there anybody who believes that tonight? I'm done with my sermon. I'm done with my sermon. He said he had power to tell them to go. Why are we going to be trying to build more housing and help people who come out of prison? Help people more in the community. Because when God gives you power, it ain't for you to hold it. But when you really got power, you give power away. See, him saying he had power was to tell them to go. In other words, hold on. Him saying he had power was to empower. Did you get it? Empower. Not for him to be selfish with all the power. He wanted to let them know I survived and my power survived, so I can tell you, you can make it. You can survive. And just like my power survived your power. That's why I came here tonight on the last day of the new year as your pastor and your shepherd to let you know that just like he gave me power to make it, he can give you power. Do you know? I'm going to say it one more time. I'm done with it. I ain't going to talk about it no more. Do you know how hard it was for me in 2018? But my church family prayed for me. Come on now. See, that's why everybody in here needs a church family. Because sometimes, the truth be told, you don't have the power or the strength to pray for yourself. But you need somebody else. Is there anybody who can say, somebody pray for me? They had me. They look to God. Come on, thank you, Lord. Are you ready? Are you ready? Come on and give God some praise. Is there anybody in here who knows you made it because somebody took a little time out and prayed for you? You ought to throw your head back. You ought to open up your mouth and give God some praise. Tell him, thank you, thank you, thank you. Come on, give him some praise. Come on, give him some glory. Come on, give him some honor. You got 15 minutes in 2018. You ought to praise him like you're about to lose your mind. Come on, give him some glory. Yes. Hallelujah, yes. Yes. Glory to God, yes. 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 Come on, give God some praise tonight. Made a way.
for you. Come on, say he made a way. Yeah. He made a way. Made a way. Oh, yeah, yeah. God made a way. Yeah. He made a way. He made a way. He made a way. Everybody in here, come on, say, everybody say, everybody in here ought to praise his holy name. He brought me out. He brought me out. Oh, come on, say it, everybody. God brought me out. God brought me out. He brought me out. The door of the church are open. Oh, yeah, he brought me out. Everybody say, oh, step to your feet. He brought me out. Everybody say, everybody say, everybody in here ought to praise his holy name. He brought me out. He brought me out. The doors of the church are open. Oh, yes. He brought me out. He brought me out. Oh, yeah. He brought me out. Everybody in here ought to praise God's holy name. Listen, the doors of the church are open. If you are here tonight and God made a way for you, won't you come and say, Lord, I surrender all. I want to give my life to you. This is the time you can join church tonight. Recommit yourself. Maybe everybody stand, everybody stand, everybody stand. Yes, everybody stand. If you're here tonight, you never joined church, you never been baptized, you never said to the Lord, I give myself away to you. Listen, how can you say you are a child of God and you never received God? Come on, sister, amen. Join church tonight. Oh, yeah. Is there another one? You can't claim to be a child of God and you never received God. You got to receive God to be a child of God. If you want God to show up at your house, you got to be committed to God's house. In this thing, it ain't something for nothing. Amen. If you want God, it's got to be something for something. You got to give yourself to God so God can give himself to you. Hallelujah. He's just waiting on you. All you got to do is take a step. He took a step towards you tonight when I preached the sermon. You heard everything I said. He took a step in your direction. Won't you come tonight and take a step in his direction? Come on. Give your life to the Lord tonight. Oh, yeah, yeah. He brought me out. He brought me out. Everybody in here, yeah. Everybody say, everybody in here ought to praise God's holy name. Yeah, everybody, every head praying. Father God, in the name of everybody with bowed heads now, everybody with bowed heads, give me 2 seconds. You give the football team a timeout. Hallelujah. Won't you give me 2 seconds? Every head bowed. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. If you're looking at me, you ain't focused on Jesus. Every head bowed, every eye closed. Amen. This is an awesome opportunity for you. Think about how God did things for you that you know you couldn't do for yourself. Think about it. How God stepped in, pulled you out. Sometimes we put ourselves in stuff, and God is gracious and kind enough to pull us out when we put ourselves in. This is your moment tonight. This is your time. Not next year, not 2020, not 2021, but 2019. You're going to walk into a new year as a new child of God. If you are here tonight and you are curious, you want to know more about God, maybe you
are not ready tonight, but you're just curious, you want somebody to tell you a little bit about it. You want to know a little bit about church. If you are here, I want you to be honest in your heart. Don't lie to the Holy Spirit. Don't play with God. If when I was preaching tonight, something happened in your heart and a fire started burning, or you felt a little tingling on the top of your head, or you felt inspired, if that's you tonight, and you want to know more about God, I want you to put that hand up. I want you to put that hand up. Don't be scared. Don't let the devil talk you out of it. Put your hand up high in the air. And you want to know more about it. You ain't going to make no commitment tonight. You just want to know more about it. Put that hand up and keep it up right now. If you want to make a greater commitment, you want to keep that hand up right now. Keep that hand up right now. Amen. Keep that hand up right now. If you want a greater commitment, keep that hand up right now. Now, if you have the courage, you're not ashamed of nobody. You're not ashamed of what you need to do in your life. You only want to live for God. Those with your hands up, I want you to step out right now. Just step out, come down here and shake the pastor's hand.